I just watched Emily Noel's 5 full products makeup look, and here is mine. So I just finished watching Emily Noel's 5 product full face makeup tag. I have no idea how these makeup tags work. And so I really am putting myself out there on the line on trying this. I actually took about 15 minutes and kind of looked around at my makeup, and I think I've come down to my 5 products. Now, this is definitely not going to be like GLAM. This is definitely, for me at least, it's going to be an everyday kind of, if I'm going to lunch or something with my girlfriends. Typically, if I'm going out, I'd wear a little bit more of a full GLAM, not necessarily more makeup, but I enjoy the process. So yes, it'd be more makeup. So this is challenging, and that's why I'm doing it, to challenge myself. So here are my 5 products. I actually chose Milani, the Conceal and Perfect. It is a lot more full coverage than I personally like. My go-tos are definitely hydrated skin tints or tinted SPFs. I keep it light. And if I use typically something like this, that's full foundation, I tend to mix it with a moisturizer. But we're not going to do that. We're going to attempt this with this and keep a light coverage for me, but still this will be my foundation and concealer. So that's my first product. I kind of was going back and forth. I actually love this Baked, Balance, and Brighten by Loreal. This is an all-over powder, or it's meant to be an all-over powder. And this is in color medium, but for some reason I use this as a bronzer. So on the days that I don't want to wear bronzer, I kind of set my makeup in the areas where the sun would naturally hit with this, and it gives me a really beautiful bronzy look. But I also love eye makeup. So I was looking through my collection, and not to use a big palette, as she said, I am actually going to use this one from Physicians Formula. This one has the bronzer there, and then kind of like this peachy color here, and highlighter. This is kind of bronzy, and then another highlighter. So this is the Butter Glow Bronzer Blush. My idea is using it as a bronzer and a blush, and then seeing if I could create a little bit of an eyeshadow look. I don't know. And so that's number 2. My eyebrows, I am going to use this Maybelline Super Lock. I don't normally use these products, but I needed something to lock my furry brows into place, but also give a little bit of color because I have like 3 white hairs and they bother me. How I intend to use this is with a brush. I've never done this before, so I don't know if this is gonna work. We're gonna see. It's gonna be interesting because I don't have a powder. So this is number 3. Since I'm not gonna do lashes, we need mascara. That's number 4. And then this is where I kind of struggled because I'm not a powder girl, but at the same time, I do powder my eyelids. It's a thing, but I decided because I'm a blushy girl and this doesn't really give me like, it's kind of like, it's tan, and I like more of a pronounced cheek. I was going back and forth with a couple of these products. So my first idea was I was going to use this Maybelline Skin Tint. It's for the lips, but I was going to use it for my cheeks. But because I don't necessarily have a powder, I don't know how this is going to work on the face just yet. I am going to try that though one day. Then I was gonna go with this color. This is from Flower, and I love this color in Fig. But I don't know, I think this is discontinued, hence the reason why I bought it on sale. So I'm gonna go with the NYX. The NYX Sweet Cheeks, I'm pretty sure they make it, but this is also going to be for my lips. So it's gonna be a lip and cheek situation. So there are my products. Let's get started. Gonna zoom you in just a little bit there. I'm gonna put my phone here and see how this is gonna work. Now, she did mention that this is definitely not including your skincare. So my skincare is already done. Actually, was done this morning. This is really scary because this is, again, out of my comfort zone. How many times am I gonna say it? Oh yeah, the pump is broken. So I do have to kind of open it, and then I think I might have taken too much, and this might be lighter than my skin tone, but I should be able to correct it with this bronzy kind of blush. So oh yeah, that's much lighter than my skin tone right now. So how do I want to do this? I'm actually going to take a brush and I'm going to start with my eyes, because that's where I feel the most coverage, because my eyes have dark circles sometimes. I did not sleep well last night nor the night before. I'm not feeling great, but nonetheless, I'm thinking this will cover it nicely. Something she said, I remember when I just watched it today, like I said, she mentioned, I really do hope I like this look. I have nowhere to go. But this is actually good to have in my arsenal, because sometimes I do not have time. Like this morning, I got ready and took my son to orientation, and I did not have much time other than taking a shower and getting dressed. Like I mentioned, I haven't been feeling great. So, you know, I didn't have time to put any makeup on, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel confident in my skin. I do like my skin. I just don't like my under eyes when I feel tired and look tired. So far, I still have quite a bit. I always go in very lightly with concealer, because sometimes you really don't need a lot of concealer. I'm going to use a sponge. I am going to take a little bit more and put on my cheeks here, because that's where I have some hyperpigmentation. I don't worry about the perimeter of my face, because I will get that with my bronzers. If it's an everyday kind of look that you're going for, then use the perimeter of your face, the coverage for your perimeter, with your bronzer if you choose to use a bronzer, or your powders. I am going to use a little bit more underneath, and I think I'm going to take a concealer brush this time to kind of pack on a little bit more. Okay, I think that's as much as I'm going to use, and I have quite a bit. Ooh, can't see. Where am I? Quite right there. Quite a bit. So that's kind of how it's looking. I still could see my some of my sunspots. Again, that's totally fine for every day, not full glam. This is fine. I'm completely surprised that I've used this full foundation concealer like this, because I normally don't. So what I like to do, whether I use a full foundation, full coverage, which again is seldom, or I use a skin tint, I usually let that sit, and I do this for my clients as well. I let it sit there for a few minutes if possible. I am going to start with, let's see, I'm actually going to start with a shimmer on the lids. So I'm going to go with this kind of shimmering peach from this section right there. And I'm going to kind of use this to set my lids. So I'm gonna frame there a little bit. This is gonna be very light. I'm gonna clean out the same brush, which is just kind of like a tapered brush. It's an Amazon set. And I'm gonna go into that bronzy color now. And let's see if I could get some, oh yes, sister. I am definitely getting some pigment. I have deep set eyes, so I am definitely going right above that shadow that's caused by my deep set. And then again, this is not going to be precise because this is supposed to be easy. I'm just kind of blowing out that bronzer at that outer edge where that meets, and we will blend that here in a second. Whatever's left, I'm just bringing it over. Okay, I'm going back in and I'm going the other side, going above that hooded bone. So whatever's left, I'm just kind of bringing it over and then coming back here and kind of just using the same brush to kind of blend. I'm going to do a little bit more on the outer edge and I'll blend some more in a second. And so I am actually going to see if I can find, this is kind of like an angled brush. It's pretty thick. I'm wiping it off and I'm going to go in with that bronzy color. It is a lot thicker of a angled brush, but I am going to go underneath my eyes and kind of just use it as a liner. Very bronzy, blown out liner. And we're going to blend this all out in a minute. I'm just laying the foundation down. Okay, so I'm going to take that same brush that I used before, wipe it off, and then I'm going to go underneath and blend. All right, so now I'm going to take my sponge and just kind of pat everything, make sure everything is kind of sitting nicely. And now I am going to go with my NYX Sweet Cheeks. Did I mention what color this was? This is in Showgirl. So I still have some of that concealer there. I'm just going to put that color right next to it. It is really, really kind of like this bright fuchsia color. And I am literally going to just tap into the side. It's almost like painting. That's why I love makeup. I feel like I'm an artist and my face is my palette. If you ever feel the color is too bright, you can always mix it in with your concealer. But I'm not going to do that quite yet. This is definitely more pinkier than the peachy bronzy color I have on my eyes, but hopefully we can make this work. Kind of taking some of that off and bringing it here, bringing it on my nose, and just working that into the skin. So now with the same foundation brush, what I like to do, and I do this with my clients as well, you take that foundation brush with nothing else on it and you just kind of tap over the areas around that cream blush that you just put down. That makes it a little bit more seamless, if you will. You don't have these harsh lines. And also, if you notice, I bring my blush a little bit higher than, I don't know if you want to say your typical makeup person. that's my preference and that's my makeup style that I use. So everyone to each their own. So now this is going to be a little bit more difficult because I just want to concentrate on the bronzer and nothing else. So let's see. And then I am going to use the back of my hand and kind of blend some in. And then just use some across here, using it kind of like setting also my blush. And we'll go back to the blush in a second. Now, for some people, this may be like, what? This is every day? This is like simple makeup? This is a lot. To each his own, right? That's the beauty of it. You can use different colors to tone it down. That's, I think, part of the challenge is to see what is it that you can create with what products that fits your style. So I'm actually really liking this bronzer on top of this blush. I'm gonna go a little bit more, and again, I'm just tapping into that bronzer and I'm kind of building on it a little bit, making sure I blend evenly. And again, I don't have a powder, but if I do use a powder, I do kind of hit these zones anyway, so I'm kind of using this as a bronzer, but also as a setting powder. And whatever's left, I'm bringing it down here and over my nose. And now, going back to the blush brush, nothing's on it. I have not dipped back into my hand. Actually, I'm going to just go out here and pick some of that up, just a little bit, and add out here, because I do have blush blindness, so be it. And then I'm going back to that brush with the bronzer, nothing on it, just to kind of tap and blend. I'm never ever swiping, I'm always just tapping. Now I'm going back to that foundation brush and tapping over the edges. I want them nice and blended, nothing sharp. I want to clean up my eyes. I'm going to take something really sharp like this and go into that concealer. I am going to go like that. And I'm just going to lightly kind of putting it in there, but then wiping it off, and then I'm going to swipe up. I'm not trying to create too much of a harsh line, and I'll soften it up here in a minute. Wipe that down. Then I'm going to take this brush, it shouldn't have anything in it, and I'm just going to blend those edges. Now I'm going to go back with my eyeshadow brush that I use. I'm going to do this peachy one. Did I do that one already? No, I haven't. I think I did the lighter one. I did do the lighter one. All right, now I'm going to take this bronzer brush again, and I'm going to kind of swirl in all of it. Let's see how this changes it, because this has a little bit of a glow. So I'm going to tap in there. Ooh, it's going to be kind of peachy, but I am going to just blend over those areas and see if I get a little bit of a highlight. And then now I take my sponge again and I'm cleaning it up. Let's recap. I've used 1 for foundation and concealer, and my eyes for everything. I've used 2 for my eyes and my face, and I've used 3 for my cheeks. Actually, since we're on 3, let's go ahead and use this as lipstick as well. So I'm going to take a little painter's brush, because it is a painter's brush. I got it from Michael's. I love these. They just work better than anything I have in the past used as far as makeup brushes. Lining my lips, if you will. Pretty bright. We're going to leave it like that for now. Actually, I'm gonna blot real quick and then I'm gonna reapply. I'm liking it. I think I'm gonna do my brows. Let's use 4, right? That little brush that I'm intending to use. I'm first going to kind of pick up some product. There's my little brush. And then let me move over here so you can see what I'm doing. So, just trying to get those little white hairs, which I have one right there. And then if I can fill in a little bit right here. I don't know if it's gonna work, to be honest. Ooh, I made a mess right there. It didn't color the white. Oh well. It did not do what I thought it was gonna do. But it's holding. Alright, so I guess I'm just gonna do this with this brow. I'm not gonna mess with that for right now. Let's try that again. See if I could do something down here. No, it doesn't actually color. I had this like idea that it would actually have, because it is colored, it's brown. Like you can see it has some brown on it, but it's not actually coloring my skin. So that was my thought process. Which is fine, because again, it is giving some product to the hair for sure, just not to my skin. I was hoping to fill in some sparse areas here and there, but that's okay, because most days, quite honestly, I don't fill them in. So I don't know why I was trying too hard. Okay, that was product number 4. Now let's put on the last one. So I usually on an everyday basis use 2 mascaras. Obviously I can't do that today, so I have to stick with one. I'm very weird on how I do my mascara. I actually clean off the majority of the product. This is just the way that I do things. I clear the tip as well, because the tip is always goopy. I don't know how most people put on mascara with so much product, because I don't know if anybody else's mascaras come like this. Is what happens always. This is a brand new tube and there's so much product. But I'm going to bring this closer to me, and I am going to start at the bottom, and I hold it there and bring up. Again, hold it and bring up, hold and bring up. Immediately go to the other one, do the same thing. I twist the brush around so I go to the other side that I didn't use, and again hold and go up, hold and then go up. Now I kind of, let me see if I can get here, you can see what I'm doing. Kind of go to my inner lashes, I turn the brush upward like this, and I start separating them. This has always worked for me if I'm only using one mascara. I have a different application method when I use 2, which is most of the time. And then again, if you have noticed, I have not dipped in to my tube yet, nor will I. I usually just go in with the product that's on the brush. But that's it. I'm not going to do anything at the bottom. And I am going to reassess my situation here. And again, just using that same brush with nothing on it. Did I just hit my lashes? They're still wet. That is it. This is my makeup look that I created with 5 products. Okay, I'm very surprised actually. It is simply not a full glam, and it's not your typical like no makeup look because I'm definitely blushy and I have rosy lips, but I'm actually very impressed with what I was able to do. But using this surprised me. But again, look how much product I still have. Is this going to be long wearing? No. Okay, so I'm gonna go out in natural lighting and show you what it looks like. Be right back. Here I am a little bit further away from the window. So this is what it would look like if somebody was looking at me. Again, you don't have to go this blushy, but yeah, I like it. I like it.